Good evening, everyone. I know usually Moth stories are sometimes a little esoteric, and I was so excited that tonight's theme was accident because I've had not one, not two, and not three, and not 4 car accidents, but I've had 8 car accidents. And I thought this is great because I can finally maybe be prideful about it and tell you all about it, but I also don't want the recorder. So then I realized I was going to have to pick my favorite car accident, which is sort of weird because they're like little children. They all have different quirks and personalities. But then I realized car accident number 8 really was the best one to pick for tonight. First of all, it's the most dramatic, which is great. And did I mention it's the last car accident I'm ever going to have? So, the weird thing about this car accident is, well, there are many weird things, and there's a squirrel involved. But the thing that's really weird is it has this long-lasting reach into my life, and it goes like this. So I'm in this car accident, bam, and then 10 years let pass. And I'm in Brooklyn because when you have 8 car accidents, you move to a city with really good public transportation, right? I didn't drive for a decade. I was so happy, so was everybody else. So, I get called in for jury duty in the heart of Brooklyn, and not the good heart, but the scary heart of Brooklyn. And my book club had just picked out Thomas Mann's Magic Mountain. Anybody read it? Anybody a fan? Horrible book. Don't read the book. If you have any history of suicidal tendencies, do not read the book. It's about wrapping people in blankets and throwing them in the snow because they have tuberculosis and then they die and then people are sad. It's horrible. Don't read the book. So there I am trying to like this book for my book club, doing jury duty. Day 1, day 2, day 3, nothing. Day 4, I get called in, and it is a lawsuit about a car accident. I'm like, this is really great, man, because I know all about car accidents. I know the lingo, the T-bones, everything. And then they get me up there, and the voir dire, right, the guy says to me, have you been in any car accidents? And I said, a couple. And he said, well, how many is a couple? And is it more than 2? And I said, it's more than 2. And then he said, you look a little nervous. How many have you had? And I said, 8 car accidents. And then there's this discussion about, I don't know, like, do you want this person? How'd she get here? Is she driving home? And so then he says to me, okay, let's boil it down. Let's talk about the most recent car accident. And I said, okay, number 8. And he said, tell me how it, like, give me the details. And I said, well, you know, it's the mid-'80s. It's a fantastic time. There's Raspberry Beret on the radio, and there's Would I Lie to You on the radio. And I'm driving in my little car, and I'm going north on Mopac in Austin, Texas. Any Texans here? No. Any Texans? Woo! And I'm on Mopac, and it's a Friday, and it's sunny, and it's great. And then, bam, I'm in somebody's car trunk. Not me, like my whole car, right? And then, so just so we're really clear, I was going to take some props for a visual, but you can close your eyes. I'm car number 3 in a 5-car collision. So it's this big accordion, and I'm kind of weird, and I try walking home, and it's just not... Anyway, we all get together, all of us drivers, and we realize, let's not sue anybody, because the insurance on this alone is crazy, A, and B, car number 1 had just moved to Texas, and he had maybe never really seen a squirrel before, and so... And he was a Buddhist, and he kept saying, ahimsa. He didn't want to hit the squirrel, so he stopped on a freeway from 60 to 0, causing a 5-car collision. So I tell him, right, it's sad. Nobody hurt, nobody died, there's no blood. I had to wear a little collar for a while, whatever. So, and then flash forward, 10 years later, I'm in Brooklyn. This guy's grilling me, and he goes, and you didn't sue anyone? And I said, no, the part of the story where we all decided we were just happy that nobody was hurt, that we weren't going to sue each other. And he said, I find that very suspicious. He said, there's always an avenue. And I said, I should have sued the squirrel? And he gets mad, and he goes, you need to think deep. And I said, I should have sued the squirrel's parents? Then he gets really mad, and he goes, that highway was built and maintained by the city of Austin. Are you following me? And I said, okay. And he said, don't you see where I'm going? And I said, so I should have sued the city of Austin because they allowed naughty squirrels to work on their property? And he said, no, the whole point is, I get the feeling you're kind of anti-lawsuit, and that's being anti-American. And I said, well... I said, I just sort of think I mean, I've been in 8 car accidents. I was Xeroxing my contact information for people to hand out. I mean, come on. I just really think that kind of karma is the supreme core of life. And so why do this if you don't have to do this? And so he kicks me off the jury. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have to go read Thomas Mann now. This is horrible. And so the next day, I get called into jury duty. And the guy looks at me. I'm like, well, I got picked again. And the guy goes, are you the Squirrel girl? And I go, I guess 8 car accident girl. Yeah, that's me. So I get kicked off of that one, and then by day 6, I'm out of my mind because every time I go down the hallway, people are like, "Oh, that's Squirrel girl. That's the 8 car accident girl." And I'm just trying to go pee a little bit. People are talking about me, so I go up to the woman who's in charge of the drum where they pull your name out of the whatever, and I said, "Listen, just send me home. Like I'm just marked here, and I want to go home and finish this stupid book." And she says, the only way you can do that is talk to the attorney. And I said, great, can I make an appointment? And she said, no, it's against the law for you to talk to the attorney. And I said, well, but I just need to go home. This is horrible. This is terrible. I shouldn't be mocked because I didn't sue someone because of the squirrel. And so she said, you have to just sit in your seat and read your book and wait to get called again. And so I said, but the only person in charge of this is the attorney, right? She said, yeah, he's the one in charge. And so I started hanging out in the hallways, figuring out when he was coming and going. And then I found him one day. And I looked at him and I went, I did my best scary cat hiss I could think of, and he looked really alarmed and frightened. And you know what? That was 20 years ago, and I've never, ever been called for jury duty since.